We officially have a proposal, a bill for a new stimulus check. Check out these headlines, guys. Senate introduces a bill for a tariff rebate check after Trump's suggestion. Senator Josh Hawley introduced a bill on Monday that could provide a minimum of $600 per adult and an additional $600 per dependent. That's the subject of today's video. Guys, if you like these updates, please like and subscribe. This is a massive update because I believe this is the first actual proposal we've had since the beginning of 2022. And this is Senator Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri. He proposed this legislation. So let's dive right into it, guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you guys are on Medicare, call our partner below. More on that in just a few minutes. So this is Senator Josh Hawley's official website. Let's take a look. Let's see exactly what this proposal is, how much each person would get, who would qualify, and kind of where things stand today. So let's take a look. Hawley introduces legislation to send rebate checks to working Americans. Again, this is directly on the senator's website. Today, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, this was actually yesterday, Monday, July 28th, introduced what he calls the American Worker Rebate Act, legislation that would send rebate checks or stimulus checks to working Americans following the historic revenue accrued through President Trump's tariff policy. He says Americans deserve a tax rebate or a stimulus after 4 years of Biden's policies that have devastated family savings and livelihoods. Take that as you will. Like President Trump proposed, my legislation would allow hardworking Americans to benefit from the wealth that Trump's tariffs are returning to this country, Senator Josh Hawley said. So he announced this legislation the week after Trump voiced support for the policy, which was discussed just a few days ago. Now, the United States has record monthly tariff revenue, which nearly reached $30 billion in June. Several projections suggest the U.S. could see over $150 billion in tariff revenue in 2025 alone. And actually, funny enough, even though this is the senator's website, I believe that's a typo. I believe what they mean is an additional $150 billion in revenue, because if you check out this tariff tracker, as of July 25th, just 5 days ago, they had already brought in about $124 billion by July 25th. So I believe the actual projections are an additional $150 billion, somewhere around $300 billion. Again, this depends on where the negotiations land, what contracts they come up with, what deals. But so far, they've already made almost $150 billion, and they're projecting about an additional $150 billion. So the American Worker Rebate Act would provide a tariff rebate check this year to American workers and families with similar parameters to the direct payments passed by Congress in 2020. It would also ensure the amount of the rebate is at least $600 per adult minimum and per dependent child, $2,400 for a family of four. I don't believe there's a max on that, so if you have a larger family, you would still get that as well. Again, if this bill actually passed. Also allow for a larger credit per person if tariff revenue exceeds current projections for 2025. And again, it's projected to be about $300 billion now. I believe if they actually used all the funds, the check could actually be closer to $1,200, like the first stimulus check back at the end of 2020. But again, all of that would be up for discussion. As these bills go through the Senate and the House, obviously changes can be made. Now, how does this compare to the previous stimulus checks? I just want to see how realistic this is, how much money they've brought in. And again, as of now, they've brought in about $150 billion. They're expected to bring in at least double what they brought in last year, somewhere around $300 billion. So let's say, first of all, the bill doesn't really specify. Are they talking about using all of the tariff revenue or just the additional tariff revenue created from Trump's additional tariffs? Let's say it's the entire thing, right? Let's say it's $300 billion. Let's take a look and see how much the first three stimulus checks cost. If you look at the bottom here, the light blue color, that was the first stimulus check. Remember, that was $1,200. It went out in March of 2020. That cost $271 billion. Technically, using the similar parameters, if they use all of the tariffs, which again are probably going to be somewhere around $300 billion this year, they could do a $1,200 check per person, and a $500 check per child, which is what they did in 2020. Now, the second stimulus check, which was $600, actually, this is very similar to the second stimulus check, which was in December of 2020. This was a $600 check and a $600 check per child. Again, the same thing. That was $141 billion. So when you look at the numbers, if they're expected to bring in an additional $150 billion, that lines up pretty closely with the amount they spent on the second stimulus check. So they could essentially use all of the additional tariff revenue, send out those rebate checks without actually dipping into any of the kind of like the baseline tariffs that we were already bringing in, right? If that kind of makes sense. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. We have a lot more updates here regarding this stimulus check that was just proposed. But really quick, let's listen to a quick message from our partner, Chapter. As a quick reminder that I've partnered with Chapter to connect my viewers with licensed Medicare agents who offer free, no obligation help. Chapter's licensed agents can help you understand Medicare and your plan options. Give them a call at 334-581-6390 to speak with someone and see what's available. Their services are provided at no cost to you. Okay, so again, this stimulus check, if they did it, would cost about the same as the second stimulus check. And theoretically, based off of current projections, they could use all the additional tariff revenue. It would be about $150 billion, which is what they're expected to bring in additionally. And it would actually be able to be covered without spending any of the baseline tariff revenue that's already coming in. So Senator Josh Hawley, he's the senator from Missouri. This is his proposal. He's spearheading this. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets any momentum on this. But he's been doing the rounds, giving interviews, kind of saying why he thinks the American people deserve this, to help with inflation, to give the working people back some of this money that's coming from the tariffs. But let's take a quick look and see what Josh Hawley said.
Of this massive money that he's raising on these tariffs and return it to the people who run this country and are going to build our future. Can we just take a second to underscore what you said about President Trump? Lo and behold, his tariff plan is working. He's getting these fantastic trade deals. And what I love about him, Steve, is not only is he getting more investment in the U.S. markets, fair deals for us where we actually can get into these markets on fair terms for our farmers and our manufacturers, but also he is locking in tariffs, 15% baseline tariff in the EU. Just remember back to January when Trump was proposing 10% global tariffs, and the Financial Times and people like that were melting down and saying, oh, that'll crash the global economy. Now they're celebrating it. So there you go. But number two, here's what I would say about this. These tariffs are raising incredible amounts of money. We're on track to raise over $150 billion from tariff revenues this year alone, this calendar year alone. My view is we ought to give a portion of that back to our working class, blue collar voters who powered the Trump revolution, who got this president into office multiple times, and who are the backbone of this nation. Biden has crushed these people. What a legacy for Donald Trump to say, I'm going to take a portion of this massive money that he's raising on these tariffs and return it to the people who run this country and are going to build our future.
So it makes a lot of sense that Republicans would want to not only give some of this money back to the American people to help them, but also with the midterms coming up next year, if they were to do this at the right time, they could not only send those checks, which people appreciate, but also say, look, these checks are from the tariffs work, the president's doing a great job, right? Whether you agree with that or not. Now, a lot of, critics are saying that essentially they should be using all of that money to reduce the debt, which was originally what Trump said that was to be used for. A lot of people are saying, forget the debt. The U.S. creates debt for this, that, and the other, but they can't create debt to help the American people. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. But Hawley is doing the rounds here, giving interviews. Let's take one more quick look and see what he said regarding the stimulus checks.
Working. He's getting these fantastic news this year alone, this calendar year alone. Biden has crushed these.
By the way, this is going to get some traction. Talk to us about the $600. How would you actually walk me through the mechanics of how you would do that?
Yeah, it'd be $600 for every adult and child. So if you've got a big family, you're going to get more. I think that's fantastic. And you phase it out for income, So again, the wealthy, you start making six figures, you get into the big six figures, you phase the thing out. So this is not going to the hedge fund managers or all the Biden voters. This is not going to the Wall Street kingpins. They don't need any of it. This is going to the Trump blue collar voters, the people who Joe Biden crushed, the people who didn't get a raise under Joe Biden for 4 long years, the people who cannot afford their gas because Joe Biden shut down our energy, who can't afford their groceries because Joe Biden drove up the price of everything. And it is a message from us to them, from Trump to these folks, that he is here to deliver for them. I got the idea from the president. I mean, the president said maybe we ought to do a little rebate. Great idea. It tells our people, the working people, that we are here for you and these policies are going to benefit them. And we're in it for the long haul.
Okay, so obviously Hawley taking this as a chance, to really slam Democrats and Joe Biden. Whatever you guys think of that, let me know in the comments below. But this is real, guys. This is the first proposal we've had since 2021 for an actual stimulus check. Again, check out these headlines. Senate introduces a bill for tariff rebate checks after Trump's suggestion, $600 per adult minimum with an additional $600 per dependent child. I actually pulled up the bill itself here. It's not very long at all. It's about 14 pages. I'm going to go through this entire thing in depth on my next video. So guys, please please subscribe. I will keep you posted as things develop. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Again, I will keep you posted as things develop with the stimulus check proposal, Social Security benefits, what's happening with politics and the economy at large as well. And guys, I always appreciate when you let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm actually going to take a quick look at the comments here. If you want to comment on my videos, guys, please, I'm always going to take a minute at the end to respond. So please comment and stick around till the end. Maimuna Chihab said, no one is getting any more money ever. It's possible, but we do have an actual proposal here, Maimuna. Karen Kishar said, what about us poor people on Social Security and disability? We don't ever get anything. The good thing is, Karen, stick around for my next video, probably tomorrow. Even if you don't pay taxes, you would qualify for this, including if you're on Social Security benefits. So make sure you stick around for that update. I'm going to go deep into that bill. Eli said, I thought it was going to pay off the debt and help the economy. That is a major criticism of using this money to give people stimulus checks, is that it could actually not only, obviously wouldn't be going towards paying off the debt, but could potentially cause inflation as well. Michael Norden said, what about the people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI veterans? Yes, these people would qualify, but stick around for my next video. I'm going to go into that as well. Adrienne Buchheiser said she only got one stimulus check during COVID. Would she get a check here? Adrian, I don't know your exact situation, but the quick answer is probably yes, you would. Stick around, like and subscribe. Come back for the next video, probably tomorrow. I'm going to go deep into the details on exactly what is in this bill, who qualifies, who wouldn't qualify, what are the stipulations, and kind of when this might actually pass, if it does at all. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, please please subscribe. I'll keep you posted on the stimulus check proposal, everything else we talk about on this channel. And again, guys, don't forget to call our partner Chapter. Phone number to that is on the screen here. They will help you get educated on Medicare, how these plans work, and help you find a plan that could be a good fit for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're doing well, and I hope to see you on the next video.